Hi everyone, welcome to Christine's Craft Table. Today I thought we would do a little crocheting with Christine since we haven't done that in a while. And I wanted to show you a few finished objects on the make-alongs I'm participating in. And we have another Somebunny and Somebunny blanket to show you. So let's get started. So first off, I would like to welcome a few new subscribers. That would be Daphne's Creative Touch, Dee Dee, Dowena Crochet, EJ's Daughter, and lovely 72 Ab. Welcome, and welcome all those whose names I can't see as well. And I hope you enjoy the channel and all we have to offer here. Now, first off, I have completed my square for Judy's Mal 2024. And this is the one where Judy gives us a picture of a tropical bird every month. And then we are to use those colors and create a project. And every month I've been creating a granny square, and then at the end of the month I will put them together into a blanket, a very wild blanket, I might add. Should be fun. So this was my square for the month. And I thought it came out nice. It's the Willow Granny Square, and I got my, I followed the tutorial on Adore Korea Crochet, and I'll put a link to her tutorial in the description box. I was noticing the other day that it doesn't actually say description box under every video. So hopefully you all know that all you need to do is click on the more. It says more right underneath the title of this video. That's where you get to all the links and all the extra information and references that I post for you there, which I've mentioned in my videos. So that is for Judy's Mal. I am also participating in another monthly mal with Jayda InStitches, and she's doing a blanket, and it's called Granny's Magical Cupboard. And every month she gives us a new granny square to make, and we make as many squares as we want to have enough at the end of the year to put them together in a blanket. So this month's square is called the Irish Rose. And it's a very pretty 3D flower in the center. And then it finishes off with 4 rows of traditional granny square. So very interesting. I have mixed feelings about this because I'm not really a fan of things that stick out that much on a blanket. I figure I typically make blankets that I want people to use rather than just display. And I don't know, I just have a feeling that this thing is going to get pretty beat up going through washers and dryers and whatnot. But nevertheless, I made the squares and I will include them in the blanket because it's part of the mal or Crochet Along Cal. So there's my first square. I mean, they are pretty, don't get me wrong. There's my second square. I just don't know how practical they are. Here's my third square. It's all 100% acrylic yarn. I'm using my favorite Loops and Threads Soft Classic acrylic and Karen's Simply Soft. I'm using up some big twists that I have in my stash that I'm trying to finish using up. That's the white and the grape. Yeah. I have gone on and on about big twist in the past, so I'm not going to repeat myself. And there's square number 4. Let's just say I'm not a fan. This was my very first one, and I decided I didn't like the whole flower in one color because it's just kind of shocking there. So that's why I went to the 2 color. And so those are my projects for the monthly crochet alongs. There's another crochet along that I started participating in when it was going on, and then I think everybody kind of left me in the dust. And I put it down for a while because I wasn't really making it for anybody but me, and I had some other things I needed to finish. But I have finally gotten back to the BagODay Crochet Along, her shawl. And so I am just finishing up row, let's see, this purple is the last row in part 3. And I'm happy to get back to this because it really is fun and I missed it. It's so cool because each round is not difficult, but when you put them all together, they just look amazing. It looks like, you know, this piece of artwork. So there you go. The last row I'm working on right now is a row of puff stitches, which also are not my favorites, but they look cool on this, and I'm going by the rules and doing everything she does. I'm obviously not using the same colors that she used, Crystal, but I change colors every time that she does. And I was hoping not to use too much of the light green. I thought it was a little bright, but I did want that touch of brightness. And then we went through like 2 rows of this spider webby type stuff, and it just happened to fall on green. So I may try and hold off using green again for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I do change colors every time she does, and I'm almost ready to start part 4. So there are 6 parts total. And I am using Queensland collection. It's 100% superwash wool. I don't know what I did with all my ball bands. They're here somewhere. In the colors Parakeet, Lagoon, something purpley. I can't remember the purple color. Violet maybe? And Spruce. And yeah, someone said it reminded him of not a parakeet, not a flamingo, that's pink. The big one with the feathers, they all have feathers. You know, why can't I think of that big colorful bird? It's not an ostrich. Oh. Wow, that's really sad. Okay, it'll come to me later. Anyway, never mind. Okay. Now, my Somebunny. So this one is a little more subdued than the last one. If you saw my last video, it was the gumball bunny and Afghan. This little guy is Somebunny number 2 for me. He is also going to the Mountain States Children's Home with the collection drive that Dana's doing. And he's super soft. I didn't fill him up very much, I'm feeling, but that's okay because he's really cuddly. And I gave him a little bow tie because I wasn't thrilled with how the neck join came down, but I think he looks adorable with his little bow tie. The yarn is Pound of Love in Antique White. And then I used Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton, or I Love This Yarn in the color Lakefront for the ears and arms and legs. So, and his story is very similar to the last one, so I won't read it, but I just think he's adorable. Love those tails. And we made him a matching blanket. And this is a very special blanket. That's the front. Is that not adorable? And the border is in the lakefront color, and the yarn is, again, Pound of Love. This is called Bunnies in the Meadow, and it was inspired by Olga Paltova's pattern called Rabbit Tracks. And this is a pattern by Miss C's Cottage. She is actually starting a tutorial on this the first Sunday in July. She does a live tutorial every Sunday. I think they call it Somebunny Sundays, and where she makes all her buddies, the Somebunny and giraffes and zebras and elephants and all manner of amigurumi. And so she will be starting this blanket tutorial. At least I think that's the plan. So I actually did the test pattern for it to help her out. And so I have mine done already. And it is, I love these little footprints. And this is a camel stitch border. And it's nice and soft. And so this will go with the bunny. And those are the two sets that I promised to Dana for her collection drive. So I'm real happy to be able to show you that, because I actually finished this one before I finished the other one that the gumball set. But I had to make sure I knew when the pattern was coming out for this before I showed it to you. I do recommend it. It's very easy. It's double crochets and window rows. And that camel stitch is very easy as well. So I encourage you to tune in to Mrs. C's Cottage. Miss C's Cottage on Sunday, if you can. I can't remember what time she comes on, but you can go to her website, which I will put a link where it says more underneath the title of this video. And you can find her and find the details for that. So that is everything I've been working on. I am going to go back to my work in progress here on the shawl along, and I thought I'd see if you wanted to join me for a while. And oh, my yarn just got caught in the zipper. There we go. I'm using my wonderful bag that I won from, this from Charmed Granny, last year? Not too long ago. It's a great little project bag, and it's got the little grommets, is that what you call them? These little holes where you can feed your yarn through. It just so happens I'm working with 4 colors on this shawl, so it's very convenient. I just set it on the floor. Sometimes it bothers my dogs. Well, one of them, he's very sensitive to any sudden moves. So even like pulling my yarn out of the bag, sometimes he'll just jump up and leave the room because, yeah, He gets startled. So let's see if I can share what I'm doing. So you're not just looking at my face. You can see the corner of my messy desk. I am working on my puff stitches. I've mentioned I have trouble concentrating and talking at the same time. And you have to do this 4 times to make your puff. Then you get 9 loops on your hook. You chain 1, and that is your puff. So you go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a puff. Chain 1. Okay, I got to the tip. I need to find out what to do with that. Okay, I'm back. It was just 2 puffs in the corner, or the tip. Puff, chain 1, and a puff. Not too bad. And then we proceed with our puffs. And hope that we don't mess up really bad, because I'm trying to talk and crochet. 2. I'm missing my crochet group, I'll be honest. So, what have I been watching on YouTube? I recently started watching well, he's not a gardener. He goes and cleans up. There's a lot of them out there, but this guy is one of them. He goes and cleans up like abandoned properties, or just people who have gotten really behind on their lawns and their house is just totally overgrown. In some cases, their sidewalks are buried under like 3 inches of overgrowth of sod, basically. And he is so good. And his name is Midlife Stockman. And I've read some of the comments, and a lot of them say he's the best one out there. I have no idea, because I have not watched. I may have watched one other that I can't even remember who it was. But he's just really good. I get so riveted on the video that I can't do anything else. Like, I can't take my eyes off of, he's edging or shoveling the overgrowth off of the sidewalk. Or it's just so fascinating to see. I don't know why. Maybe I have a secret desire to do lawns. I don't know. Let me count this. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. But it's a really good YouTube channel. That's all he does. He just shows up at a house, and someone might live there or someone might not live there. And sometimes cities, I guess the city he lives in, or certain cities know about him, and they will contact him and ask him if he is willing to clean up a property. And he does it for free. He doesn't charge. He said he's in automotive work during the week. That's his job. And then on the weekends, he does this for fun. Yeah. So he'll take 2 days, and it's just amazing what one person can do. And of course, he puts the video on fast, speed it up for you. You don't sit there for 16 hours and watch him do yard work. His videos are usually like 30-40 minutes, I think. Needless to say, I don't get a lot of crochet done if I watch them. But, I mean, if I'm going to sit and watch a TV show, I'd rather watch something like that. It's just very clean, clean show. 2, 6, 8. I'm having to count my loops because I can't seem to count to 4 while I'm talking. Well, because you have to yarn over twice and then do it 4 times. I mean, you yarn over once, you go through, and then you pick up a loop and you yarn over and pick up that loop and then come back. And it's just a lot to keep track of. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So anyway, I will put a link to his channel if you want to check him out. Totally not crochet related. But fun. 2, 3, 4. So you end up with 9 loops. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on your hook. What else have I been watching? Oh, the Hillbilly Kitchen. I've mentioned her before. I think her name is Becky. And she has been on a trip to Alaska with her dad. Her dad is like 90 something, I think. And they have driven in a van. 1, 2, 3. She lives somewhere in the South. Maybe it's Tennessee. And they drove up to Alaska, and so they were on their way home. They might even be home by now, but she's been doing videos, and those are fun to watch. She even showed her little cooking setup because they've been camping a lot. They have their little setup in the van where they sleep and everything. Although she did say they had to stay in a hotel a few nights because it was just too cold, and her dad suffers from the cold. But the scenery, oh my goodness, so beautiful. I have never been. So I really enjoyed that. And oh, I've been keeping my not scrap yarn, but you know, the little pieces you cut off when you weave in your ends or change colors. So this is my acrylic, and I'm running into trouble because I'm having to squash them down to fit them in these little jars. And this is my cottons. And I just love seeing those colorful little jars sitting on my desk. They're so cute. I think it was probably relish. I think they were dill relish. Pickle relish. I got that idea from Elise Rose Crochet. She has a real neat channel. She does a lot of amigurumi, but she's very fun to watch as well. She has over 300,000 subscribers. She's just very helpful, very interested in giving you tips, especially if you're a new channel. I recommend her channel as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are probably the newer channels I've watched recently. Oh, I continue to catch the Franny Life shorts. That little Chihuahua is just adorable. I can't help smiling when I see her running out the door to meet Postman Dan. 2, 3, 4. They dress her up in the cutest little dresses. And she says pampered Chihuahua all over her. She's a long-haired Chihuahua. But she's just adorable. And she runs out. She just dashes out the door as soon as they open it for her. And he'll park like right at the end of their driveway. So she does the dash. Must be about 100 yards to right into his arms every time, and she'll see him drive up. She'll just be standing at the door getting all excited and starting to cry, and I have to turn down the volume so that my dogs don't get all upset. But it is the cutest little short. Just one of those things that makes you smile and gives you a laugh for the day. We have never had dogs that we dressed up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, our last Chihuahua, we did put sweaters on him only because we lived in Tennessee in the winter and it was cold, and he was getting on in age and he wasn't doing too well, so he did wear sweaters for the winters. His last couple winters. But, you know, we've never been, like, buying cute outfits and stuff for our Chihuahuas. Yeah. 2, 3. But I do think they look adorable with them. Oh, I also wanted to mention that we started using YouTube Music, and I set up a playlist for my favorite scripture memory songs, and it's public, so if you're interested in some really great music that are scripture songs, you can find that playlist in my playlists. I listen to that a lot every time I'm driving. Whenever there's a storm and my dogs need to calm down, they love that music. 2, 4, 6, 8. Often, if I've been listening to it a lot, I'll wake up in the morning with one of those songs going through my head. And I just love that. 2, because it's all good stuff. 3, 4. It's also very hard to get too upset with other drivers when you're listening to scripture songs on the radio. You can't be praising the Lord one minute and get out of my way. It just doesn't work. Or if somebody cuts me off or something, you know, just helps me keep a little more mellow while I drive. There's actually two of them. There's one that has different artists. The very first singer I found scripture memory songs by was, actually that's not true. I used to listen to some Maranatha groups that sang scripture memory songs. They were a little more, I don't know how to say, peppy. And then, so I listened to those like years and years ago, over 10 years ago. And then maybe 5 years ago, I found Sherry Youngward, and it was through a women's retreat. The speaker had her CDs for sale when people still bought CDs. And so I bought one, and I loved her music. In fact, I might have bought, no, I think I just bought one. She has 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. And so I started listening to her music, and I just love those scripture memory songs. And then I found a few other groups that I love. There's one called The Corner Room, and Shane and Shane, and Sons of Korah. Those are probably the 3 main ones, other ones that I listen to. So I put those in the other playlist. So I've got 2 playlists on there. One for just Sherry Youngward songs, and then the others on another playlist. Sometimes I get really bad headaches, and honestly, only those Sherry Youngward songs. I mean, that was the only thing I would listen to when I'd get a really bad headache. I'd just lay down, turn off all the lights, and force myself to not sing with her because my head was throbbing. I wasn't going to be singing, but I'd actually mouth the words or whisper the words to get those words going on in my head instead of the pity party that I wanted to sink into because my head hurt so bad. I haven't had a bad headache like that in a while, and that's why I'm talking about it in the past tense. But I've used her music a lot for that. Especially, there was a time I was getting, probably every couple weeks I'd get a bad headache. And it would just take me out for a day, 2 days. I mean, it just would not let up. They've never been diagnosed as migraines, but they're just bad. I have no tolerance for pain, I think, is the main problem. And so, yeah, that would be so helpful to me. And sometimes the headache would actually ease up when I was, I guess, meditating on the words of those songs. And it just, you kind of just decide in your heart that you're going to praise the Lord regardless. And it doesn't only apply to headaches, it can apply to anything horrid that you're experiencing or going through. You just determine in your heart, I'm going to praise you anyway, Lord. I'm going to thank you. I'm going to be thankful. I'm going to, this pain is not from you. This is, part of the fallen world I live in. Maybe a repercussion of something I've done by not treating my body in a healthy way. But I'm still going to praise you, and I'm still going to, kind of the Job type thing, he was suffering so much, but he was not going to deny his Savior. He said, I know my Redeemer lives, and I will be with him one day. And, he wanted to know the reason he was suffering, and he certainly asked the Lord for that over and over again, but he did not blame the Lord. He got very down. He did wish that he had never been born, I recall. I mean, he suffered big time. But he never denied the Lord. He never turned his back on God and said, I'm done with you because you're not taking away all this stuff I'm going through. And that's kind of the way I want to be, no matter how bad it gets. I'm not going to turn my back on God. God's the only one that's going to make it better. And he often would. I mean, eventually the headaches would lift of their own accord, or if I took the right combination of medication. Sometimes it was just ice pack on the neck or the head or whatever. But those songs really helped me a lot through that. In fact, I think I even took them with me. I was in the hospital once and asked my husband to bring a cassette recorder when we listened to cassettes. A CD player. What was it? Oh, no, it was what do we call them? iPods? When Apple came out with the little gadget thing that held all your music. I think it was an iPod. I had them all on there, and I listened to her music in the hospital. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Anyway, when we switched to Apple, I'll do that over. When we switched to YouTube Music, I didn't realize that my playlist would show as public on my list of playlists. And the other day I saw it there and I thought, oh, that's cool. So I can share it with other people. I'm not very tech savvy, so I probably wouldn't intentionally seek out to find out how to do that, but I guess it was automatic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just 50 more. I'm not a fan of making puff stitches, but I do think they're pretty. And they feel very cool when the little puffiness of them feels really neat. But it's just the whole tension thing, getting the right tension on them. Mine tend to end up very tight. The only thing with this shawl is you change colors so many times that you have so many ends to weave in. I finally sat down and wove in all my ends from the first 2 parts before, I think it was just before I started this row, because they were starting to get on my nerves. I just had so many. I know some people say don't weave in your ends until you block, but there was no way I was going to have like 100 ends hanging off of this thing. I figure if some of them stick out after I've blocked, I'll just deal with them then. But I try to give them a little stretch when I weave them in so they're not real tight in there. So hopefully they'll stay put. I listened to this decluttering audiobook that I wanted to mention. It's called Decluttering at the Speed of Life by Dana K. White. And I think it's really popular because it took forever for it to be available from my library. There was a big line of people waiting for it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one of the key things, it's pretty good. She's entertaining. She sometimes gets a little too entertaining, and I just want her to get down to the how-to. What do I do first? How do I do this? I don't have a huge problem with clutter, but I can see I have those tendencies. So I would like to clean out a few different drawers, and she makes a distinction between organizing and decluttering, and they are two different things. You don't want to go in there and organize because it's just going to mess up again in a matter of time. But if you actually get rid of things, decluttering involves getting rid of things. And if you do that, then those things aren't going to show up again. And if you follow the principles, then you're not going to accumulate and put yourself in the same situation again as well. 2, 4, 6, 8. So I don't remember everything. In fact, I probably will end up checking it out again because I listen to it while I crochet and sometimes my mind wanders. But one of the things she said, which I liked, was to consider your whatever you have to keep that particular item in, that is your container. And when that container is full, you're not allowed to buy any more of that item until you get rid of something that's in that container. For instance, your house. Consider your house a container. And if your house is too full of stuff, you don't need a bigger house. You need to get rid of stuff. And, you take that down to a drawer, you take that down to, your sock drawer, your kitchen cabinets, your refrigerator, everything is a container. And so you're not allowed to buy anything else. And this totally applies to my yarn because I made the decision months ago that I was not going to buy another tote. I need to use the yarn that I have, and I won't say I'm being very successful at whittling down my stash, but that is my goal, and I haven't bought any more totes. And I've managed to squeeze everything I have in what I have, but it's tight. It's still too tight. I need to be seeing some progress. But so that said, either I need to get rid of yarn or not buy any more. Plain and simple, because it does not fit. I'm in the container that I have available, because those containers are in a spot where there's not room for another tote, frankly. I mean, yeah, I could squeeze something in, but I refuse to. Because that closet is just not made for containers or totes of yarn. So anyway, I took that away. That was a takeaway that I had from that book. And I like that. I like that principle. And she also said, if you're overwhelmed, if it's just too much, go with what's visible first. Like if somebody walks in your front door, what do they see first? Okay, attack that first. If it's your dining room table that's full of stuff, then focus there and get rid of that. Not get rid of the table, but declutter that space. And then you move on to another space. And if you only have 5 minutes to declutter, then use those 5 minutes. And then, so I'll set my watch for 30 minutes and say, okay, for 30 minutes, I'm going to declutter, and then I can stop. So I don't have to think oh, this is going to take me hours. I don't have that much time, so I don't do anything, and that's what kind of paralyzes me sometimes if the project is too big. But I did that the other day. I had to, I'm embarrassed to say I hadn't shifted some summer clothes out of storage and put away some winter clothes. I still haven't finished, but I at least finally started and spent 30 minutes. I think I ended up spending 40 minutes, but doing that. And I felt really good about that because I'd been thinking about it for, weeks now that it's been solidly warm. And I think winter's over. We're in July. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah. The one last major thing I need to do is wash all my scarves and hats and then put them away for a few months at least till I take them out again. 1, 2. But at least I did take out some summer tops. I don't have that many clothes, but I did have some summer tops that I had not taken out yet that I kept thinking about. Like, oh, that would be good to wear today. Oh, it's in a bag up in the closet. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. As I sit here in long sleeves. But this is actually a very light t-shirt, so it's not warm at all. And whenever I'm going to be showing like crochet stuff, I don't want to be wearing something really busy because I feel like it takes away from showing you what I'm working on. Is that silly? I don't know. Anyway, so I played bingo last night with Roaming with Rover. I tell them I really shouldn't be playing because I never win at that game. Although I shouldn't say that because I played, my mother-in-law used to live at a senior home type facility, and they would get together and play bingo. And I was visiting for a while with her. And I think the first time I went, I won. Did I win twice in one night? It was crazy. It was physical bingo, you know, with the cards and everything. I was shocked because I never win at that game for some reason, and I did. 2, 4, 6, 8. But on the online one with Robin, I played several times last season they had it, and just never even came close. I don't even come close. It's like I'll get 2 numbers when everybody else is saying all they need is 1 number. And then you pick your numbers for the next 3 months. So I went in and put a bunch of birthdays, not thinking that, okay, you're just cutting out half of the numbers go up to like 75 or 79, something like that. And all of my numbers are under 31. I just don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, I didn't do very well. They played 3 times. You pick 9 numbers, so that gives you a little bit more of a chance. And then they played twice where you get 5 numbers and you get bingo. And then the last time is a blackout game. It was fun. Robin was telling us all about her new yarn shop, Bigfoot Yarns. 1, 2, 3. You can check out her yarns. She also sells earrings, notions. She was showing us some very pretty project bags that she's making. They're like fabric. I think they're drawstring, but really cute fabrics that she had found. 1. But you have to actually put your numbers in advance of that night. So there's a video that you go to put your numbers in, to pick your numbers, and you put it in a comment. And then she goes and picks up those comments. And so she has your numbers already before the game starts. I'll put a link to the introductory video where you type in your numbers if you are interested in playing. 2, 4. I think some of these puffs are going to be puffier than others. Hopefully they won't look too bad. That'll pass. That does look kind of cool, doesn't it? Oh, I started watching another, it's not really a crochet along. I started doing the stitch tutorials on Creative Grandma's website. She has, I don't know, it must be over 100 stitch tutorials in a playlist called Stitch of the Week. And she has the video tutorial and then a link in the more information to a PDF of that stitch tutorial, written for free. You can download it, print it, whatever, save it on your computer. And I mean, it's this resource out there that I don't know why I haven't taken advantage of before, but how cool. I'm thinking if I want to start, or if I want to ever get to the point where I design something, I need to know stitches, right? And what better way than to do these tutorials? Actually, I got the idea from Pamela at Pamela's Adoring Crochet, because she did it last year, where she had this basket where she was collecting all of her little samples of different stitches. And I think she was using a book, and she was just going through and learning stitches. And then she would just put a little note on each one, with the name of the stitch. And then she'd collect them in this basket. And that was going to be her resource to use to find stitches for, patterns that she designs. And I think I thought it was a good idea at the time, but it just, I didn't have any desire for some reason. I think I was still so new to patterns that I'm just enjoying doing other people's patterns. I want to do a pattern that is tried and true and tested and I know is going to be beautiful. I don't want to have to figure anything out right now. For me, that would take the joy of crochet out of crocheting for me. If I was sitting there trying to do the math and figure out the pattern, and yeah, I don't, that is not for me. But it might be one day. So I figure if I learn the stitches, I'm halfway there. And I can learn to appreciate which stitches to use for, for the effect that I want. For instance, I'm going to start making a blanket, and I don't want any holes, I want the stitches to be as tight as possible. So I need to find the right stitch or the right pattern. I think I found a pattern. I just need to start. But yeah, if I had all my stitches down, then I could just pick the stitch and go for it. So, and she gives you, she gives you the multiples, everything you need to make that stitch. So. She's even teaching some Tunisian stitches, and I had told myself I had no interest in learning Tunisian, but some of those stitches are very pretty and it's not hard. I don't have a Tunisian hook. I just use my Susan Bates. It's straight enough to be able to at least do the sample. And in the sample, you're not going to do so many stitches that they fall off a regular size hook. So that has worked so well for me. I need to figure out what to do at the end of my row here. Okay, we have finished part 3. And we will continue on at a later date. Ta-da! Oh, I'm showing you the back. There's the front. And that is going to look very cool when it gets blocked. It's kind of scrunched up on the ends. I think I pulled my ends a little tight when I weaved them in. Anyway, I'll try and loosen up when I weave in my future ends so it doesn't get, I think this part is a little tight. But very pretty. Okay, I guess that's it for today. I've run out of things to say. I made a rhyme. Have a good time. Good day, everyone. And I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Okay, I'm back. I just got a package in the mail and I wanted to share it. It's so exciting. Okay, so I won another giveaway. This is coming to me all the way from the UK. How exciting is that? From Linda Simpson. So let's open it up and see what we got. Actually, I know what I got, but I haven't seen it in person, so this came to me fast. I think it was less than a week. Let's see, it says 6, no, that can't be right. That was probably the postmark here. 6/17/24, and today's the 25th, so 8 days from the UK to Kentucky. That's pretty good. They're like me, they tape things very well. I think people get mad at me because of all the tape I use, but I'd rather use too much tape than having something come open. Right? Okay. Thank you. Congratulations, Christine. We hope you enjoy your prize. Hugs, Linda and June. Linda and June had their 7K subscriber giveaway, and that was what I entered, and I was the second prize winner. So, there's my prize. Some cute little stickers on it that say thank you. And, ooh, this cute little, I think they called it a wrist bag. So you hold your yarn in it, I think, and you can walk and crochet or crochet on the go. And they included this lovely Mako yarn, which I have never used before. It is a 240 meters, 100 grams. %100% acrylic, premium acrylic. Looks like I don't see what weight it is, but it looks like it's either a 3 or a 4. Might be a 3 weight, which is quickly becoming my favorite weight right now, is a DK. Yay! And then this little notions pouch as well, which is like a vinyl or leather-like vinyl. The zipper. Thank you so much, ladies. That was a lovely prize, and I am so happy to have won. Put my yarn in there, put my notions, and I'm ready to go. There's cute little, oh, I thought it was butterflies. I think they're bumblebees. Anyway. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it, and I love my gift.